Welcome back to LePodcast, episode 66. As always, you're here with Hoop, Saney, and the infamous ZZ Huncho. Due to unfortunate circumstances, this is our first pod since the playoffs have started. All the rounds have gotten to about Game 2. Some Game 3s are starting real soon. Can we please talk about what happened with the Warriors and Kings? That's been one of my favorite rounds. But Draymond Green is now ruled out for Game 3 due to stomping on Domantas Sabonis' chest. I'm sure Z has a different point of view on that. What does this mean for the series, for the Warriors, and do you think it's fair? Should we start with Z? I guess so.
I mean, I feel like it's only right.
I guess so.
I guess so. To answer the question of do I believe that Draymond Green deserved to be suspended, I'm going to answer that halfway, right? Do I see the argument of him being suspended? Yes, I do. At the same time, though, the problem that I have is that it seems that no one is batting an eye towards Sabonis, who, like I said in my TikTok video that is now at like 67,000 in a day, over 400 shares, over 400 comments. People are just either agreeing with me or hate me for whatever reason. I personally don't care. But I don't like the fact that Sabonis is the one that initiated all of this. JJ Redick, I want to give credit to. I know we're going to talk a little bit more in depth in this series later on in the show. So JJ Redick, I just want to give credit to. JJ Redick is basically kind of the same way as I am on this, which is Sabonis has made, if there's anybody in this series that has made dirty play after dirty play, it is not Draymond Green. It is not Draymond Green. It isn't anybody else from the Warriors. It isn't Looney. It isn't Clay. It's Sabonis. Sabonis has had probably the most dirty plays in this series so far. It's only been 2 games. I said in my video, when Sabonis was going up for the rebound, grabbing the back of Klay Thompson's jersey is what led him to end up on the floor. Now, people would like to make the argument of, oh, he was protecting his face. He didn't realize that Draymond Green's entire ankle was in his grasp. Shut up. Sabonis knew what he was doing. It's that simple. I am so sick and tired.
I'm sorry to cut in. What media outlets are you looking at that only point to Draymond? Because everywhere I've been on Twitter, on ESPN, even though the NBA suspended Draymond, the voice of reason in every space is that Sabonis had part in it too.
Right. So when I look at that and I see, and like you said, there is a lot of media outlets that have taken Draymond's side, which is the point that I made in my video. It's shocking to me how many people have looked at it and are trying to figure out where to specifically place the blame on. Those who place the blame on Draymond are either Warriors haters, Draymond haters, or they just looked at the incident itself, saw Draymond.
I've never been checked off on every box. I've never had every box checked off.
See,
Go ahead.
I want to let you continue, but I feel like the suspension wasn't necessary. First off, I know the NBA is not supposed to push narratives, but robbing us of Draymond Green playing basketball when he didn't punch someone in the face, I think is a bit much. Also, considering that Sabonis did initiate that, it's one thing to go out of your way and kick Steven Adams in the nuts. This is completely different. But the other thing, I kind of lost myself because I was just getting emotional over this. But Sabonis, here's what I will say on Draymond's behalf, or going against Draymond. If I was playing basketball with my little brother and he gives me a little shove and, I go to stomp on his chest or whatever it is, right? And I take it too far, that is also part to be blamed on. I think it did deserve the flagrant too. I know Clay was upset in the post game and he was holding up his 4 fingers and whatever's going on. But I do think the flagrant 2 was necessary and that Draymond needs to be blamed. Whether it's 50-50, I really don't care. But there's blame to be shared around.
We need to get Klay Thompson, or we need to find a way to get Klay Thompson a 4PF chain at this point, because that man reps them harder than they do themselves.
No,
you know what I mean?
He's sounded emotional in the post game conference. Steph is always cool, collected, just robot, those 2K replies to the
Klay Thompson's out here spitting every single Lil Baby song bar for bar.
Come on,
guys,
he's on this isn't fair.
No. But to your point about the flagrant, bro, like, I'm not arguing that Draymond deserved the flagrant 2. I'm not arguing that he deserved to be ejected from the game because obviously, like, even the Warriors weren't arguing that. The problem that I have is the suspension as is, because for Sabonis to just get a technical, right, and Draymond to get that flagrant 2, get ejected. So you would think that, like you said, you brought up the analogy to your little brother. If that happens to you, you both are going to get in trouble. You're both going to get scolded by your parents and then move on, right? At least the consequences happen. Draymond Green.
No, but the thing is, a consequence for Sabonis is a bruised sternum. Like, that's like me knocking out my brother, and even though my brother did me wrong, I now gave him a black eye or something like that.
Like I said in my video, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. It's that simple. It was a simple case of fuck around, find out. He found out the hard way. Now he's got a bruised sternum. Is that my fault? No. It's Sabonis's. Here's the thing. The thing that annoys me the most is that, like, I'm not even trying to like hate on Sabonis because I love his game. I love everything about his game. I admire it, right? But the problem that I have is, like, I feel like the majority of people that are against this, that are just like, oh no, Draymond has this, he's a serial offender and all of this. I'm like, bro, it's been 7 years since the LeBron incident, which even if you go back to that one, like, Draymond falls down because of LeBron James, tries to get back up because the play is still going on, and then LeBron James promptly steps over Draymond Green. I remember as a kid, I was saying to myself, how do you even justify this? A man stepping over you after he just put you on the ground, and you're still trying to get up and play. Like, Draymond in this situation, fast forward 7 years later, Steph Curry gets a rebound. The Warriors are trying to make a run, trying to take the lead. Draymond sees this. His team is going up the floor in transition. He gets halted because he looks down and sees his ankle being held hostage by Sabonis. And for those who are talking about his face, he's trying to protect his face. Look at the play. I literally
think
provided
both camera
the video.
angles were they showed
Telling?
different things. I'm not going to say one was right, one was wrong, because it's literally just a camera angle, but like they're both sides have a point. I don't know what it is, but
Right. I agree with you. Both sides have a point. My only issue is that, like, I was watching First Take the day after, and Stephen A. Smith was saying how he wouldn't be surprised if Draymond got suspended, but he doesn't think that he deserves to be suspended. I was in the same boat. I was like, I'm looking at this from a perspective of, it's a playoff game. The Warriors are down 0-2. So I feel like Adam Silver or Joe Dumars or whoever made this stupid call sat there and was like, hey, bro, let's take a look at this let's lay it all out on the table. The Warriors are down 0-2. They're going back home. You mean it's Draymond stepped on a man's sternum? Yeah, let's go ahead and suspend him. Go ahead and suspend him. All right,
I have a few things. I have a few things that I want to say. Number one, it was karma came, and I'm very happy to see it. But real talk, like, from an unbiased standpoint, like, I don't condone Draymond's actions, but I don't either with Sabonis. Like, if either both guys get suspended or both guys play or both guys get fined. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Domantas Sabonis even get fined?
No.
That's where I'm like, that's a conversation to be had, because you can't be grabbing dudes' legs. I will say this. You shouldn't stomp on a man's ribs. But if I'm Draymond, I'm stomping on his ribs. Like, I'm speaking from my perspective, which is where I have to relate to Draymond in the sense of, like, you can't grab my ankle when I'm trying to run during a fast break, especially, because I will stomp you out. Like, in that same situation, I would do the same thing. I'll be honest. Like, it's not the right decision, and I'm not inspiring people to do it.
No, I agree.
You guys have to think.
I agree.
If you, in the heat of the moment, and I'm not saying I stomp people out regularly. I'm a very passive guy, right? But think in the heat of the moment, man. Listen. I'm a passive. I'm not stopping people. I'm not telling people I'm a violent person. I'm trying to say, like, the heat of the moment. They're in a away game in a Kings center that's screaming, right? Like, we saw the energy in that center, and you have an opportunity to shut the crowd up, and you have a fast break, and this guy is grabbing your ankle. I'm like, bro, like, my mind's racing, the adrenaline's pumping, like, I'm stomping on this guy like I'm freaking Pooh Shiesty trying to get down the court, right? So that's all I'm gonna say on Draymond's end, and I think both of them should have got the same punishment. But I will say this, and the thing that is pissing me off, if you want to say that Draymond shouldn't have got suspended as a Warriors, and this is only Warriors fans, fine, I agree. But Warriors fans are pushing this narrative that the agenda is against them. Shut the hell up. If you are a Warriors fan trying to convince me, and Z, I know you've been seeing this, that the agenda is against you and the league is against you, and I have seen plenty of posts, I genuinely got irritated reading those because it's like, man, you got 4 rings in the last 10 years. Stephen Curry has yet to not make the finals in any playoff run he has been a part of since 2015. And you want to complain that you have a guy suspended. Yes, a bad call was made. I agree. Complain about the bad call. He shouldn't have been suspended. But you have the nerve to say the agenda was against you. I have never seen a team more profitable, more marketable, more pushed, more bandwagony than the Golden State Warriors since the year 2015. And I think we can agree on that. They were the favorites. They were the NBA's favorites. Okay? Boo-hoo, you grew up. You're now in your teenager puberty phase, and the NBA don't give a shit about you because you got pimples on your face and you're ugly. Now there's a new baby in the Kings and the Thunder and these young teams coming up that the NBA wants to now focus on. Stephen Curry is 35 years old. Draymond Green is nearing the end of his deal. He's not going to stay with the Warriors much longer. Let's be real. Klay Thompson wants a max contract for God knows why. The Warriors are no longer the face of the league. That's just how it is. So do not try to push this narrative that just because things don't go your way anymore, that you want to say the agenda's against you. The agenda is not against you. You have been blessed by the basketball gods to have even this much relevancy in the last 10 years, because we all know how hard it is to be relevant in the NBA and be a top dog. It's very rare. Every 10 years, you see 1 or 2 of them. And you were the mecca of one. You're down in history. Don't complain about not being in the agenda. You were the agenda. Now you're not. Boo-hoo. I'm not directing this at you, but I think you can agree with me when I say that some of this is being blown out of proportion. Where it's like, bro, at the end of the day, Draymond stomped the guy in the ribs, and they didn't see Sabonis' move as lethal. I don't agree with it, but he still stomped the guy in the ribs. So let's not try and defend this. Let's defend the fact that both of them should have got suspended, and let's also not attest to the fact that the agenda is against you. No, it isn't. It isn't.
So let me just say this. I'm gonna let you spit. To Saini's point about the agenda, I've seen it. Okay, I think I saw it on Playmaker Haley. Shout out to her. She had posted something.
Oh,
I think
is she with this
you
too?
See that?
She made so many. And I love Haley. Haley, I'm not hating on you.
Shout out
don't
Haley,
take
but
any
that's
hate.
nasty.
I love Haley, but she's trying to say that the agenda is being pushed against them. Bro, come on.
So here's how I look at it, right? I reposted something on my Instagram story earlier this morning. It was from JJ Redick, who was talking about the difference in officiating or how lopsided it seems within the first 2 games, right? Now, I felt what JJ was spewing because JJ didn't even want to say, refs versus Warriors. I don't even want to say that either. I genuinely
you gotta pause that. You felt what?
Wait, what I say?
No, keep going.
All right, cool. If I did mess up, pause. Nonetheless, let's get back, all right? So when I look at this, right, from JJ Redick's perspective, I don't know if y'all saw it. JJ Redick damn near was about to tear up on the set this morning, talking about how lopsided the officiating was and how JJ's point was basically, I understand that they're playing at home, right? So, like, the referees are going to have, pressure on them. You don't want to hear ref, you sucks chance, especially with 30,000 people screaming. Like, I understand that.
Yes, sure. You should want to hear that. You're getting paid $500,000. That's your job. Your job is to hear that.
But the thing is that if I'm a referee, if we're referees, right? Imagine if LePodcast was referees, and we're out there, and every single call that you make against the home squad, damn well the crowd is not going to agree with. Sabonis could have literally slapped Draymond right in the face, knocked a tooth out. The crowd would have still been upset. The thing that JJ Redick was alluding to, though, was how the Kings are defending the Warriors, which is the off-ball movements, right? JJ said, you can't hug a guy who's trying to come off ball, coming off the screens, right? Steph Curry is what he was alluding to. You can't hug a guy. He was alluding to Davion Mitchell in the way that he's guarding Steph off ball.
You also can't set moving screens, but nonetheless.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing about the moving screens. The moving screens is what everybody likes to point to, right? I'm sitting here saying, I understand the case of the illegal screens, but it isn't like the Warriors were the only team getting away with it. The only reason that the illegal screens were a problem is because the Warriors are coming off of them, shooting the 3 ball at a god-tier rate. That's
he
it.
started stumbling. He didn't know what to say. He was like, "All right, well, I get the illegal screens.
I get the illegal screen. I do. Okay, I can't even.
No,
argue
yeah,
that
no.
one.
To
You
your
know what
point,
I'm
to your
saying?
point. The Warriors are just the best shooting team of all time. So obviously, it's gonna be. Nobody's gonna complain about an illegal screen that didn't result in a bucket. I'll give you that.
If it's coming from imagine if it's Steven Adams setting these screens, then we really have a problem, right? Like you already have a problem with Draymond Green.
Well, if you got Andre Roberson crawling off a screen, it don't matter if it's illegal or not. You know, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, man.
But
you can go ahead, bro.
yeah.
Go ahead.
We should probably
I
fade
was
away
about
from
to
Draymond
say,
talking a bit.
I have a good segue because in terms of like risky play, there's a bunch of injuries that happen. There's a lot of stuff we could cover. But the one thing I wanted to say, the other play that was not as dangerous as the Draymond one, I know Z, you saw it because you sent some in the group chat flaming Tom Thibodeau, which is well deserved. Julius Randle almost maybe broke his entire leg, his hip, his core. He would have been like paralyzed from the waist down. He
Terrible.
Hit. So I'm sorry. I'm just shaking up. Like 2 minutes left in the game, right? Knicks down like 35. 35. Dude's on the fast break, right? Open lane layup, except Jared Allen, you know, hustle play, whatever you want to call it, tries to go and block him. He gives him a little nudge. He flies into the backboard and like straight on his butt. One leg almost caught the ground, which definitely would have been like a hyperextension, whatever. But basically, no reason to be in the game. At that point, do you think that's more of like an unlucky play, or is that a dirty play on Jared Allen? Is that more basically what I'm saying? Is that a dirty play on Jared Allen, or is that a poor decision on Tom Thibodeau's part?
Poor decision on Tom Thibodeau. I don't care what it is. If I'm up by 30 and there's a minute left at a playoff game and I'm on the court, I'm putting my all into it. It doesn't matter. It's a playoff environment. It's a playoff setting. You're at home, especially. You don't want any sort of momentum or confidence boost to the other guy. So it is a Tom Thibodeau situation. It's a Tom Thibodeau mistake. Also, wasn't Julius Randle not even, like, there was a chance he wasn't even supposed to play. So why is he on the court when you're down 20 with 2 minutes left?
He just came back from a sprained ankle.
Yeah, like, this is ridiculous. And it, like, and to add on, also, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw those, like, anonymous NBA player voting for, like, different stuff. Tom Thibodeau was voted, and it was 43.7% of players voted. I think that's the number, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's in the 40s, though. For the coach they did not want to play for, they wouldn't play for, was Tom Thibodeau. And I understand why. I really do.
God, bro.
And as you can see, my good friend here, Hoopology, if you listen, like, that guy was tearing up. Like, he's shaking, man. So
emotional,
courtesy of the podcast, obviously we are gonna get Hoop to a therapist and talk about, you know, the feelings he felt after watching Julius Randle on the ground.
When I saw
Heart jumped out, obviously. So we asked that you guys leave hateful comments out of his post for the time being. But back to Thibs, man. I will never forgive that man for what he did to Derrick Rose. And the fact that he's literally, like, we could have seen that same thing happen with Julius Randle in a playoff setting. And funny enough, Derrick Rose got injured when they were up by like 20 against the Sixers with a minute left, and they're down 20, and he's got like this man just loves putting his players.
The second the injury happened.
Yeah, and
they panned to him the second it happened.
Bro, let me tell you this. I'm sitting here watching this game, right? And I'm sitting here watching with my boys. One of my boys had put a bet in, and he needed the Knicks to win. Obviously, he went out sad, but nonetheless, they were down 23 points with less than 2 minutes 30 seconds left. Why the hell do you have Julius Randle, fresh off of coming back, returning from an injury, like you said, the sprained ankle? Why do you have him on the court? What is he going to do in 2 minutes and 30 seconds to make up this step? Would you want him to cut it to 15? You want him to cut it to 11? What did you want, Tibbs? That was my problem. I left the New York Knicks fan base, right, in the summer because I hated everything about the New York Knicks. They had Tibbs. The only reason that I liked Tibbs was because Rose liked him. That's my favorite player, obviously. If there's a connection there, like, I got nothing against it. Same reason why I love Russell Westbrook, because Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook are apparently besties, right? I obviously loved Russ for years. Thibodeau, on the other hand, is a different story. Tom Thibodeau, 10, 11 years ago, in that series, first round against the Philadelphia 76ers, everybody remembers it, Rose had no business being in that game. Right? The eerie part about it is right before Julius Randle had went up and the situation happened, you could hear, I don't know if you were watching it, but you heard the commentators at that time say, why are the starters in the game? I was like, why are the starters in the game? I thought back immediately, had flashbacks to Rose. Then Randall goes up for that dunk and almost loses his lower half of his body, the mobility of it at least. And I'm sitting here like, as soon as he went down, the commentator said, get him out, Tibbs, get him out. Tibbs sitting there with that stupid-ass look on his face doing this.
You did that perfectly.
This is me off every single time. If there's a problem with a Tom Thibodeau-led team,
with the 30% of the hair that's left on his head.
Bro, he got that Mr. Burns haircut from Simpsons. Yo, by the way, real quick, I just want to announce that we have officially hit, like a real quick, I know it's kind of a self-plug, we officially just hit 1,900 members on Discord, like the actual
let's
numbers.
Go.
1,900 active members. That's not including bots. That's just straight people. So if you're not joined up already, discord.gg/LePodcast. You can put that in your internet. It'll show up. Come join, man, because it's been freaking litty. In the last 2 days, we've gotten 1,000 members, bro. We've been pushing it. So sorry to cut you guys off. It literally just happened. I got the notification. I thought I'd tell you guys.
All good. Join up. Please, and thank you. But my final point is just that Tom Thibodeau is the one guy that I can bank on to end another man's career. And the thing is that Thibodeau is the guy that's giving you the green light to go out there. So if your coach is telling you, hey, man, I know we're down 25 and there's absolutely no way we're winning this game, but you can go out there because I don't want to put in Evan Fournier. I don't want to put in Derrick Rose. I don't want to put in any of the other guys.
Bro, why does he pay Evan Fournier all that money? For what? They're for what at this point?
I don't know.
You know what's upsetting to me is that, so they have their rotation set, right? Quickly has been great this year. Toppin and Hartenstein and Hart, aside from Quickly, are really the only guys that come off the bench. They have McBride there, who gets some minutes at time, but Derrick Rose does not touch the court. And what's crazy is in a playoff setting, right? You figure you want to go all out. When Quickly was like 0 for 5 the first game, and I understand they won the game anyways, Derrick Rose, not only was he the best contributor on the New York Knicks 2 years ago, it's not like he aged to 50 since then, or he's had a serious injury since then. He's just rotting on the bench. He can still provide you really solid offense. He's one of those guys who could actually get you a bucket. The Cavs defense was incredible last night.
Yeah.
The second quarter, the Knicks had must have been 5 turnovers in the second half before they had it, or the second quarter before they got a bucket. Like, it was ridiculous. Yeah. Yet when you have a solution, a possible solution, you don't want to try it out. I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not a coach.
It boils my blood, bro. It boils my. That's why I couldn't do it. I was like, I looked at the season going in, and I was just like, bro, Rose, the pieces that they brought in. I'm thinking to myself, okay, you got yourself a Jalen Brunson, you got yourself a Quentin Grimes, you got young guys that can do things. Like you said, Derrick Rose has not suffered a major injury since Detroit, maybe, like in Cleveland. That like nothing that's been a significant setback to his game at all. Like you pointed out, 2021 playoffs, Rose best contributor, my opinion, best player on the entire floor for the New York Knicks, and you had that coming off the bench. You weren't even expecting it. So now you're in a situation where you got Darius Garland just lighting your ass up, and Donovan Mitchell out here on his CP3 shit. Taking a step back just because you're obviously seeing your other man ball out. I would think that if I'm a coach, especially one with a tenure like a Tom Thibodeau over 10 years, I would think that, maybe I don't have to go, 12 man deep? Maybe I can go 13, 14.
Since he's also seen the man hoist an MVP trophy.
Literally, he's seen the man hoist an MVP trophy. He's seen the man hit a game winner against Cleveland. He's seen the man go crazy and give you one win against the Atlanta
we're playing
Hawks team
RJ Barrett because we paid him $140 million in the offseason, and we need to try him out. For the 80th time.
I don't get it. If the Knicks get bounced, Tibbs is gone, and I will be singing your praises, Hoop. I will be singing your praises. Me and you might as well drop a diss track on Tibbs. I will do it. I don't care. It's gonna be called Stank Face. I don't know. It just annoys the hell out of me.
He has the coarsest voice in history. I wonder what it sounded like before all the yelling. Hey,
Dick! Sound like a fucking dinosaur. Hey,
man.
Oh my God. Let's move on, man.
Suns and Clippers. It's one of my favorite series so far.
Oh, is it my time to shine?
Yeah, please start us off.
Is it finally my time to shine?
Has Russ
Why don't we
beaten
talk? Listen.
the useless allegations? Spit.
Whoa! I can't wait. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for giving me this moment. I just want to show my gratefulness. Oh, man.
I'll give you a 5-minute run if you
I've
want,
stayed
bro.
10 toes. Thank you. I need it. I need it, boys.
Let
I'm
him
sorry.
spit.
All I
Relax,
got to
baby.
say is, man, you MFs have known me for a minute now. And if you followed me, if you've known me, I've been holding it down for the last 13 years of my life. The last 3 years has been difficult, especially the last 2. I've been holding it down 10 toes, solid the whole way through. I have found excuses in every possible situation a man can find an excuse. And I just want to say to all of the Westbrook haters, to every hateful comment I've received, to everyone who has went at my life, to all of the DMs, please, and I say this, I don't want to screw it. Hold my nuts, okay? I want you to hold them. Hold these nuts,
Sandy.
all right?
Yeah,
Because
Sandy.
I have waited for this moment. And I will say this, game 1.
Oh, he shot 3 for 19.
That was the greatest 3 for 19 performance mankind has ever seen. That 3 for 19 performance is going down in NBA history. In the 60 possessions that Russell Westbrook guarded Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker in game 1, them boys scored 6 total points on 25% shooting. Devin Booker goes up to attempt to put the game in overtime, and Russell Westbrook not only blocked it, grabs the ball midair and throws it off at Devin Booker to go out. Game 2 comes around, and they're like, oh, he's shooting 3 for 19. He decides to go 9 for 16, 28, 5, and 5, and from the jump, from the get-go, that man had Kevin Durant crying to his mama courtside because he was all over his ass. And yes, Devin Booker decided to have the game of his life, and the Clippers still lost. I get that. But without, oh my God, Kawhi Leonard and Russell Westbrook are doing the biggest carry job I've ever seen. Why the hell does Zubac have a contract? Why is he a center on a team? I thought DeAndre Ayton was bad. I used to be a DeAndre Ayton hater, but Zubac made Bismack Biyombo look like prime Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the paint. Bismack Biyombo was looking like prime Kareem doing these hook shots. Bro, I genuinely saw that man brick a 2-foot shot, grab the rebound, put up the same ugly-ass jumper, and somehow make it. I was baffled. I was stunned that Bismack Biyombo was doing work in the paint. He made Bismack Biyombo look like a $10 million per year player. And DeAndre Ayton, God knows why, got more than 1 offensive rebound last night. How the hell did we let that happen?
DeAndre
No. With a solid center who isn't soft, going 2 for 7. And you know what? Props to Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon had a bad game. That's fine. You know what, Eric Gordon? You've been doing great. You can have a bad game. But I'm out here watching this game, thinking, 4th quarter, yelling, what a fuck Batum in? What the hell was Batum in that game? And I apologize for the swearing and the cussing. We don't swear on the podcast, but I have to let this out. Who the hell let Batum go on the court, and his only job, apparently Batum thinks he gets paid to fill the rings on his Apple Watch, to get his daily step count in, because he played 19 minutes, and that boy had 0 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist.
And 3 fouls.
And
Bro,
3
that was a
fouls.
highway
Oh,
robbery.
and 3 fouls. And 3 freaking fouls.
Bro had more
The
fouls than
Clippers,
points.
just remember this. The Clippers, and like I said, you lucky Paul George isn't playing, all right? The second Westbrook got traded, I said, that team is my championship favorite. I am proving why they're the championship favorite. Because imagine that team at full strength without Batum running up and down the court. That's all I got to say.
Bro.
They kept the
I
ghost
just
to
wanna-
Eric Bledsoe in him.
No, I just want to say that Russell Westbrook, in past years, ever since his MVP season, I guess is what you could say, people have always ridiculed his defense, talked about it a lot, but I've always said I like Russ's defense. I think Russell Westbrook is an underrated defender when he gives effort, and I mean effort like a game that he had in Game 1. Sandy said, this is the greatest 3 for 19 game I've ever seen in my fucking life. Because, 1, Russell Westbrook literally was out there getting every offensive rebound you could imagine. If the ball was going up from a Clipper, Russell Westbrook was getting the rebound and bringing it back down. That is insanity. And Russell Westbrook said, and I agree with him, ain't nobody better at the point guard position that's going to get rebounds like Russ. It's that simple. I don't know what it is about Russ. He got that Dennis Rodman complex, watching the way the ball spin off the rim or whatever. But Russ, that's his. You know, when Melo's like, I got to get the F out the way, that's Russell Westbrook. He don't even got to say that, though, right? His defense and his playmaking and his rebounding, key components. Because somebody had dropped a comment on one of my TikToks right after, because I posted about how excited I was to see this matchup of Suns and Clippers, mostly KD and Russ. But people were like, somebody said something like, oh, Russ isn't even a superstar anymore. He's just a glorified role player, yada, yada, yada. And then after the game, they're like, you're still glorifying him because he shot 3 for 19. I was like, did you watch the final seconds of the game? Yeah, he shot 3 for 19, but if he
not
doesn't
even
have
the
that
final
block,
seconds, the whole game, bro. He was all
Russell
over them the whole
Westbrook
game.
found a way. The thing that I love about Russell Westbrook being on the Los Angeles Clippers is that Russell Westbrook's role does not need to be what it was in Oklahoma City, and he knows that. And he can go out there and give you shades of OKC Russ when given the opportunity. In this situation, no Paul George. They need Russ to step up. They need Russ to go. Russell Westbrook is an X factor for them, knowing all of Kevin Durant's moves. Last night, I don't know if y'all saw that first block. Bro sent that thing back to back. Kevin Durant was on the floor. Like, it was so forceful. I was like, yo, the only player on the court that knew that Kevin Durant was about to shoot this shot was Russell Westbrook. You need that. That's the X factor that you need right there. Last night, it's a damn shame that Russ's performance got squandered with the loss. But, I mean, the defense is there. The playmaking is there. The effort is there. Russell Westbrook is that effort player that every team needs. The Lakers just didn't know how to use him because they needed him to do something that he should not have been doing. They just tried to fit him in, but I love this series. I really do. Another thing that I will say before I let Hoop spit is the Suns and their bench. What I alluded to before we even watched the first game was the Clippers have a lot of hands on deck compared to the Suns. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are out there giving you, Kevin Durant had, 44 minutes last night. Devin Booker, 45 minutes. Like, if I'm Monty Williams, you need one of them on the court for an extended period of time. When DeAndre Ayton picked up his 4th foul, Bismack checked in the game. The commentators immediately are like, the plus-minus differential between these two players is through the roof. They need DeAndre Ayton. They don't need Bismack Biyombo. The Clippers have the luxury of having guys like Terrence Mann, of having guys like Russell Westbrook, of even having guys like Mason Plumlee that can go out there and make some sort of impact for you where Zubac is lacking, right? So when I look at that and I'm examining both of these teams, this series is going to be fun. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are going to be being played over 40 minutes a night, and that is if they want a chance to win. You cannot have DeAndre Ayton in foul trouble. Torrey Craig, let me shout out Torrey Craig too. Torrey Craig and Josh Okogie are pretty much the same player. They have the same exact role, which is if Kevin Durant or Devin Booker's driving in and they got the defense collapsing, you need to knock down a corner 3. That's easy. Harrison Barnes used to do that back in the day. So to have players like that, but when you look at the rest of the bench, it's like Bismack Biyombo gave you 15, Okogie gave you 15 minutes, Shamet gave you 14 minutes, Damian Lee gave you 3, Ish Wainwright gave you 1. So I don't think Monty Williams really knows what to do when it comes time for Kevin Durant or Devin Booker to sit down, or DeAndre Ayton. That is, to me, a scary problem for the Suns. I don't know about you, Hoop. I don't know about you, Zaney, from what y'all have been watching, but that's why I'm picking the Clippers in this series, because simply they just have more bodies on deck. If Devin Booker's hamstring is looking like Chris Paul's was in 2013, Kevin Durant is getting hurt randomly at this point in his career. He's still giving you 30, but you have to think about these things in the back of your head. If one of those players go down, God forbid, knock on wood, hopefully they don't, but if one of those players go down, it really might be wraps. Like, it really might be wraps. Like, scary. I don't know.
Shout out to the Clippers for making this series as competitive as it is with PGO. Like, the Suns, this might be the Suns' hardest series they play until they get to the finals. If they make the finals, if they win. I still think the Clippers will win. But if the Suns make it through, this will be the hardest series they play until they get to the finals.
Yeah, well, I first want to start off by saying Kawhi Leonard might be the best basketball player I've seen in my life. He is so reliable in the playoffs. I was talking to the Discord the other day, like, he might be a top 3 playoff option right now. You taking Jokic or Embiid over Kawhi Leonard in a playoff game?
Hell no.
A must win?
Hell no.
I don't even.
Embiid
Is Giannis and
like,
KD
Embiid
maybe?
is iffy.
Steph, maybe?
But Jokic shouldn't even be a conversation over Kawhi. I think Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs on his day is the best playoff performer in the league. I thought that was
agree
like
with that statement.
Like
Kevin
face to
Durant has
face with
shown.
KD and can outperform him like 6 times out of 10.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Kevin Durant has his moments where he just like rips your heart out for sure. But Kevin Durant is also inconsistent in terms of like we've seen in these last 2 games, like a stretch of like 15 minutes of Kevin Durant not scoring a single bucket, right?
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is just caught every 2 minutes there's a Kawhi bucket. At least every 2 minutes Kawhi's putting the ball in the bucket, right?
Somebody said on one of the sports shows, I don't know if it was First Take or Undisputed or Get Up, it was one of them. They were like, Kawhi Leonard is literally the second version of Michael Jordan in the three-peat. Like, so 96, 97, 98 in terms of his offensive ability. Like, Kawhi in the mid-range, butter. Kawhi at the three-point line, even, butter. Kawhi driving in, butter. The defense is right there too. Last night in that game, I was watching him pluck KD like it was nothing. KD doing the same crossover moves he's been doing since he was 23 years old, leading the league in scoring. Kawhi was like, nah, let me get that. Go down the court, make a play. Like, it's wild. Like, I'm with you on the Kawhi love. I think Kawhi is the best playoff performer so far, because he's like, there's no element in his game that's bad. He can make threes. He can make mid-ranges. He can make fadeaways.
His playmaking was incredible the first 2 games
It
as
was.
well. The one,
It's insane. He got 7 assists.
yeah, the one thing I wanted to say, like as far as how the series is going to play out, I'm rooting for the Clippers, so maybe why I think that's why they're going to win. If my gut feeling though is telling me the Suns win it in 7, the talent from a dynamic standpoint, but by dynamic I mean guys that can maybe get their own buckets, play make. These are not guys that are just catch and shoot or just defend or just grab rebounds. The Clippers have more dynamic talent on the back end. They have Norman Powell, they have Bones Highland, they have Eric Gordon who can take the ball off the dribble at times. But on the front line, the Suns have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. And that is tough to beat. If there's one guy that can keep them in contention, it is Kawhi Leonard. With Russell Westbrook, you got to pray that he keeps on this hot streak for the rest of the series. Then they have a legitimate shot, right? With Paul George, I think the Clippers have the edge.
I don't think
because
it's a
then
hot
they have
streak.
dynamic talent. What?
It's not a hot streak. Look at how Russ has been playing with the Clippers since he got there. That's all I'm gonna say. He's been doing this. I'm
not trying to diss Russ. I'm just trying to say, like,
no, I know.
I'm just saying,
I know. You haven't been watching Clippers games. I'm gonna tell you right now. He's been doing this.
yeah,
It's
heard
not a hot
that.
streak.
yeah, all right,
It's a regular
all right,
streak.
all right.
All right.
Well, the shooting,
anything-
shooting wise,
No, not shooting. Just what his impact on the game. It's not a hot streak. He's gonna do this every night. I promise you.
I'm
He's gonna
saying
have an
Russ
impact
actually
every night
had
in a
gravity
positive way.
last night.
He's gonna have
He
gravity every
did.
night.
That's what I was about to say.
Well, he
Russell
didn't have a
Westbrook,
game 1.
He what?
Well, yeah.
I was just
but
saying,
Gravity
it-
he brought
No, he did
defensively.
not.
Defensively, without
They were
him, they
guarding
don't
him from
win.
the paint.
Without him, they don't win. Doesn't matter.
I agree.
That's
I
offensively.
agree.
What do you do
He had a huge
defensively?
No. I'm saying offensive gravity. I think that's important.
Oh, I thought you just said
I'm not
gravity
trying to
in
get into a
general.
Russ
Draymond,
debate.
yeah.
I'm not trying to get into a Russ
Okay.
debate.
No. Y'all are seeing it from 2 different sides. He's seeing it
I'm
from
saying
a
he's
defensive
very
perspective. You're looking at
impactful,
it from
but
an
I'm
offensive
saying if he
perspective.
can keep up this offensive gravity, because it's going to get more nitty gritty between these two teams, like just picking each other apart. If Russ can stay a positive on that end, I think the Clippers have a real shot.
If you watched the game last night too, I noticed that Kevin Durant, for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they just read the script and the script is giving us this, but Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook are literally guarding each other, and it's weird. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just weird to me. Russell Westbrook probably went up to Kawhi and was like, I know you think you're him, but that's my boy. I know his game. I know his bag. Let me handle it. And Kawhi is literally being used as like a damn near like a decoy on defense when Kevin Durant has the ball in his hand. So if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I got Kawhi in front of me. But at the same time, if I beat Kawhi with this one little hezzy tween, I have to make sure that Russell Westbrook isn't sprinting 100 miles per hour behind me to pack my shit. That is incredible. That is the X Factor-esque thing that Russell Westbrook brings to his team, because it's like, Russ said there's no beef at the start of it, but Russ been waiting 7 years for this.
They dapped each other up after the game, though, like in the tunnel.
Exactly. Which is why I love them. Like my top 3 favorite duo ever. But at the same time, I just think that, like you said, front line, Suns got it. They do. Back line, when you're in a playoff series, especially one like this where I'm expecting this to go 6-7, be honest with you. And the first 2 games are dictating that it's a matter of certain players getting hot. Like in game 1, KD didn't shoot the ball for like the last 6 minutes. Came back to kind of bite him, right? At the end of the game, and on that final play where Russ had blocked Devin Booker, the play was originally designed for Kevin Durant. He just couldn't get open. So they had to go improvise. They had to improvise with Devin Booker, and then Russell Westbrook gets the incredible block, and here we are. So I think that this series, for me, can go 7. The Kings and Warriors series, I think, is one that everybody's like, oh yeah, that's the most hyped one. I like this one. I really like this one because it's a matter of egos, it's a matter of legacies, it's a matter of a lot. Chris Paul getting his first ring, Russ getting his first ring. Kawhi and KD, both certified champions. Devin Booker trying to get, like, it's just so many elements to this. I love it. I just love it.
We only have a couple minutes remaining, but I know on the Discord we talked about how they're trying to get rid of the charge rule. For people who haven't heard, I'll update you. Not that the NBA has really said anything yet, but, people on Twitter are talking. People with the verification badge are, upset because Ja Morant and Giannis
Society's finest.
Yeah. Twitter people. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Ja Morant both got injured on the same play where they were on offense trying to rush the rim, and Kevin Love for Giannis and Anthony Davis for Morant went to take a charge. One of them was actually called a charge, one was a block, but the same premise was like they're trying to get position, and so when the guy barrels into him, it's their ball. Ja Morant with his hand, I don't know if it's completely broken, but he might be out for an extended part of the series. Giannis had like a back, I forget what the term is, but he might be out. Is he out tonight?
Back contusion, and he's questionable as of 5:43 p.m. Eastern
he's
Time,
a superhero,
April 19th.
Yeah. But point being, we're all against taking away the charge rule, right? Is anyone for it?
I don't see why you would.
We're all against, right? Yeah, we're against that. That's stupid. That's stupid.
But yeah, I mean, to elaborate, like, for being a rim runner in the NBA can be successful, but there's risks to come with it. I think the more dangerous play, instead of trying to draw a charge, is sprinting full steam into a man with his hands over his nuts. Pull up, hit a floater, do stuff. Like, you're supposed to be skilled in basketball. You're gonna have disadvantages if you're not. So guys like Giannis and Ja Morant are the 2 prime examples. It's almost like ironic that it happened to them because they're always the ones rushing the rim, trying to dunk on everyone. And the second they go down because they ran into someone trying to make a good basketball play, now we got to get rid of the rule? What?
That's if anything, that happening to them doesn't tell me, oh, it's unsafe. That tells me, oh, well, the time was supposed to come because these guys are known to be rim runners, and they just lined up at the same time. But when they do it over and over again, this isn't Ja Morant's first time going to the rim. This isn't Giannis' first time going to the rim.
Like Kevin Durant.
It's not like Steph going for his first time ever, and he had somebody like did something dirty. No, like these guys do this, and it's gonna happen, right? Like it's like being confused why a UFC fighter got knocked out when he went into the octagon. Like, bro, he's going in there to fight. Like, he's going in there with the intention, and something can happen that is not the intention that he had, right? But I think it's dumb.
To Hoop's point about like them being rim runners and it being ironic that it happened to them, that was my point too. Like, what do you expect defenses to do when they're playing Giannis and Ja Morant? I saw Ja Morant, for example, 2 years ago in the play-in tournament, beat the Warriors, who loaded up the paint because they knew how high he can jump, and he beat the Warriors late down the stretch with multiple floaters, just getting to his spot, recognizing that somebody's sitting there grabbing his nuts, and he doesn't want a charge, so he's just going to go up and hit the floater. Giannis, I don't mean to do this, but a callback to James Harden, when James Harden was calling out how Giannis, all he does is run and dunk. You can't make that argument with James Harden because James Harden's going to Euro step past somebody that's sitting there ready to take a charge. Manu Ginobili did not give us years of excellence to sit here and listen to y'all complain about charges in 2023. Dwayne Wade wasn't Euro stepping past legends.
There's literally a move that you could watch it. You could watch it on YouTube. You could learn how to do it on YouTube.
Exactly.
That you can do to avoid these situations.
Why? I hate NBA fans that act like they can't use their brain.
YouTube is free, by the way.
What are y'all doing? Are y'all these are the same fans that complain about the NBA being soft, but now you're trying to take away charges? The hell is wrong with you people? Y'all trying to take away the game that we love, the game that we grew up on? I mean, damn. Like it does. the fact that it is Giannis and John Morant, when John Morant went up on Anthony Davis, I told y'all this, right before he went up on Anthony Davis, I asked my boy, I was like, so you think John gonna try to dunk on AD? 3 plays later, that happens. Now, is it a case of playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes? No. It's a case of just playing basketball. It happens. It genuinely happened. Giannis, who took that charge? Kevin Love, didn't he take? Kevin Love sitting there taking the charge. He probably had flashbacks to LeBron when LeBron.
No, but you know what I heard earlier is Kevin Love, I'm pretty sure, leads the league in charges this year, and I'm sure that's not the first time he's done it. Like, he just takes a million charges. Him, Blake Griffin has done it a lot. Marcus Smart, obviously, like, just scrappy guys. Chris Paul. If you're playing against him and you see Kevin Love on the scouting report, when Giannis gets past the first guy, you need to know that he's going to be standing there. And I'm sure he did know, because I'm sure Giannis does his homework. He's one of the best players in basketball. Like, it's just a part of the game. I'm sure if you asked him, he's not like, oh, the charge rule needs to be taken out of basketball. Like, I mean, he's not saying that.
I like the Giannis voice.
This is a great way to wrap up the episode. We hit the 45 mark. I think we've covered everything we want to.
Hey, shout out the Sixers and Nets, but that's, more of a cakewalk. The Lakers Grizzlies, we could
ain't nobody talking about Celtics and the Hawks, man.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. You want to talk about that, then you're talking to a community of 6 people who are interested in that series. But I'll just play it. Celtics fans know they got that in the bag. This was a great episode 66. We apologize for the delay. We had technical issues last episode, and we just decided to skip that one entirely and just wait for the next scheduled day. Make sure to join the podcast Discord, which is the most popping Discord in the NBA community, discord.gg/LEPODCAST. Enter that in your internet browser, and you will be sent over.
You sound like someone at the end of a commercial, bro.
Hey, for all the marketing agencies out there, you hear it's a beautiful, crisp voice. Shout out. LEPODCAST. Anyway, listen. We thank you again for listening to the show, and we will see you guys in episode 67. Peace.
Deuces.
Give it the extra 5 seconds. Oh, wait, I'm editing.